Hey, what's up, guys? Another timeout for another 2-minute drill on 1520 KOLM The Ticket. Scotty Matthews with Frank Spaeth. All right, man, it's finally here, NFL Draft Week. Has your opinion changed since we last debated on the Vikings and what they should do at 23?
No, because if you remember, 2 months ago when we started talking about all this, I said the Vikings should take a wide receiver. And as the offseason has progressed and they've signed some pretty legit free agents, offensive linemen, grabbed some linebackers, they've signed and re-signed some defensive backs, it still seems to me like the place that they need the most help is at wide receiver. And I'm not alone in that. There's a website, SB Nation. That,
heard of it?
Yeah, they've put together this really cool grouping of all the different mock drafts they can find to figure out who the most popular
From
picks
different
are.
writers across
Yep,
America.
all these different mock drafts from all over the country. And the top 4 that come up for the Vikings are all wide receivers, including the guy that I picked 2 months ago.
Corey Coleman. Baylor.
Exactly. He's the number 3 right now in terms of percentage, but I think it's because he's the number 1 for pick number 22, Houston Texans. So I think the only reason he's not higher for us is because people think he's already going to be gone before he gets here. You know, and so other than Coleman, I mean, they got some other good receivers on the list. They got Josh Doxson from TCU. He's coming off a broken wrist, so a little bit of a question mark with him, but right now, he's one of the top guys that they're talking about.
I like him because he played against the Gophers, and we got to see him up front.
Yeah, right? And Laquan Treadwell's another one. He's on not a list above us, though, so I don't know if he'll fall down that far. So we'll see. But those are certainly the top 3 options for the Vikings, and we know they need them.
I'm totally on the board with the wide receiver pick now that we've added some additions to our offensive line. We beefed it up with Alex Boone, Andre Smith on the other end. He'll be fighting it out in training camp with Phil Lodeholt, so I'm totally on board there. But here's a curveball. What if they went defensive line help? They've gone defensive the past couple drafts now. Zim's a defensive mind. You know, Rick Spielman's kind of listened to him. We got Brian Robinson turning 33 next Wednesday. Tom Johnson's getting up there, too. They're more third down passing situation specialists, but, they're getting up there with age. Everson Griffin, Daniil Hunter, Linval Joseph, and Sharif Floyd, they're all 28 and younger. So if someone were to fall to them a la Sharif Floyd did a couple years ago, could Zimmer push for another stud defensive lineman? What do you think?
I don't know. I think that would be a long shot. I mean, it's a good point. Since we lost Jared Allen a couple seasons ago here, been a little bit light on the D-line, but nobody's talking about that. Nobody's talking about that as even an option. So that would be interesting. It's something we didn't even talk about a couple months ago, right?
Right.
But as the off-season's progressed and we see all these other needs starting to be taken care of, maybe something else pops up here, huh?
And you never know with Trader Rick, because he's one of those guys where, he likes his 10 picks per draft. Currently, we're sitting at 8. So whether it's a defensive line, could be safety, wide receiver. If he doesn't like what he sees, guess what? He's trading out of the first round to get more picks.
And the other thing is there's still time for some trades to be made. And we know exactly what happens when something shifts. Suddenly, everything else right behind it shifts.
And it's been a crazy offseason so far. We've got the Titans and the Browns trading out of the top 2 picks to the Rams and the Eagles, respectively. Could be just like last year with Mariota and Jameis Winston. Everything's up for grabs right now. It seems like nobody wants to keep their pick.
If that big trade does happen, that could throw a wrench in everything, right? You just never know what's going to happen. That's the great thing about the next few days. Between now and the draft, you just don't know what's going to happen next.
Oh, and Rick, we trust. That's going to do it for this edition of the 2-Minute Drill on 1520 KOLM The Ticket. If you haven't liked us already, be sure to do that, 1520 The Ticket on Facebook, and check out our website at 1520theticket.com. Frank, we'll talk to you next time, bud.
Sounds great.